Good afternoon, everybody. It's me again, your teacher, Al-Arabi Susi. I hope you are doing well. Today's lesson, inshallah, is the second part of our lesson of grammar concerning reported speech. Last time, we saw what is reported speech and how, or what are the changes that take place when we change a sentence from direct speech into indirect speech. We also studied the example of sentences that are declarative sentences, or what we call statements. Today, inshallah, we'll be dealing with reporting questions and other types of sentences. Before we start dealing with the questions, I draw this map, if you want to say, on the whiteboard to explain the types of questions that we're going to be dealing with. So questions are normally two types: WH questions and yes/no questions. For WH questions, they are normally questions that begin with a WH word like who, what, where, how, etc. Even if how is not beginning with WH, but it is also called a WH word. For the yes/no questions, normally there are four types of yes/no questions. The questions that normally yes/no questions are questions to which the answer is either yes or no. In the answer, the answer to these questions is either yes or no. So that's why we call them yes/no questions. There are questions that are starting with or beginning with verb to be, or they may be beginning with the verb do, or have, or a modal like can, will, shall, may, etc. So before we start dealing with the questions, I need to make sure you understand a very important point in reporting questions. So let's see. So let's see this example first. We have this question: where do you live? He asked me. This is a sentence in direct speech. It's a question. The sentence is in the form of a question because it is an interrogative sentence. He asks me. Now, in reported speech, he asks me. The reporting verb is in the past. So he asks me where. We keep the WH word in its place. I lived. Did you notice something with me here? So when we reported the question, it's no more a question. It is no more a question. It's not a question anymore. It's a sentence that finishes with a full stop. That is to say, it is a declarative sentence. It is a statement. So we changed from direct speech into indirect speech. This change caused to reform or to change the form of the sentence from an interrogative sentence into a declarative sentence or a statement. This change will affect my changes, the changes we spoke about in the previous video. That is to say, you notice there is no, the auxiliary do doesn't exist anymore in the sentence. I will explain why in a few seconds. The question mark doesn't exist anymore because we are no more in an interrogative sentence, we are in a declarative sentence. Of course, there was here an inversion, so there is no inversion after we omit the verb, there is no inversion anymore. So this is what is very typical about reporting questions. That is to say, the reported sentence is not a question, it's a sentence. I'll explain. So imagine we have a sentence like this. I football. It's an affirmative sentence. A negative sentence. How can we transform the sentence into a negative sentence? I do not play football. I want to make a question. Good. Do I play football? So, when we wanted to go from affirmative form to the negative form, we add do and we add not. Good. When we wanted to move from an affirmative sentence into a declarative sentence, we add the helping verb do, we add the question mark, and we add inversion. So, in the reported speech, normally we move from an interrogative sentence into a declarative sentence. So this means that we need to omit a do, a helping verb do if it exists in the question. We need to omit the question mark, and we need to omit the inversion. This is what we have just seen in the example just a few seconds earlier. So I need to pay attention to the form of the sentence when I report a question. I need to omit an auxiliary verb if there is an auxiliary verb, do. We need to omit the question mark and also the inversion. So let's see the sentences. I'm going to give you some sentences. So let's see more examples of questions, of WH questions. I have these 3 sentences. Who broke the vase? The mother asked her son. Where do you live? She asked me. How old are you? He asked the little girl. Let's do the first one. The mother asked her son. So we said WH word remains in its place. So there is no change. Who? I need to pay attention. So we have here question mark. We don't need it anymore. Who? The verb broke. Simple past, good. It needs to become past perfect. Who had broken? Good. The vase. Let's see number 2. Where do you live? She asked me. She asked me. Same thing, where remains in its place. A WH word remains in its place. So we have here the use of the auxiliary do. We don't need it anymore. And we don't need the question mark. You is speaking to me. So this you, it's me, I. Good. The verb live in simple present. It becomes simple past, where I lived. The inversion was here. So when we omit the auxiliary do, we omit also the inversion at the same time. Question number 3. How old are you? He asks the little girl. The man asks the little girl. He asked the little girl. So the auxiliary verb remains in its place. How? So we have here the question mark. We need to omit the question mark. Are you? It's an inversion here. So I need to omit the inversion. So he asked the little girl, how old? Now you is speaking to me? No, he is speaking to the little girl. So the girl is she. Very good. How old? Let's make another color. She, how old? She. The verb are, it's the verb to be in. Good, simple present. So simple present in the table of changes becomes simple past. How old she was. And we finish. So this is the way we transform questions from direct speech into indirect speech. Now let's move on to yes-no questions. I have here 4 examples because we have 4 types of yes-no questions. Is your father at home? So this is a yes-no question beginning with the verb to be. Do you speak Italian? This one is beginning with the verb do. Have you seen the movie yesterday? It's beginning with the verb have. Must we write the date? Beginning with the modal must. Now with this type of questions, when we want to transform the sentence into indirect speech, we need to add the word if. We need to add the word if or the word whether. Just keep in mind if. You add the word if. It's easier. Is your father at home? He asks me. He asked me if there is inversion here, so we need to omit the inversion and we need to omit the question mark. Your father, so he's speaking to me. He's speaking about my father. So if my, your becomes my father. Now the verb is simple present of to be, because we have the reporting verb in the past. Simple present becomes simple past. Was. Good. At home. So pay attention. With yes-no questions, we add if in the beginning of the reported question. Do you speak Italian? She asked her. She asked her. She asked her. Good. The word if. So we have here the use of the auxiliary verb do. We don't need it anymore. We don't need the question. The inversion, there is no inversion. After we omit do, there is no inversion. You. So she's speaking to another girl. So that's here she. If she. Blue. She, verb speak in simple present, because what we do, simple present becomes simple past. If she spoke. Good, very good. Italian. Let's see example number 3. Have you seen the movie yesterday? He asked us. So he asked us. Good. We add the word if. We have here inversion. We need to omit it. And we have here question mark. We need to omit it. Have you. You is speaking to us, all of us, me and my friends. So we. It's we. It is very important to pay attention to the phrase after the direct speech sentence so that you can see what change of pronouns you're going to make. So he asks us if we have seen. This is present perfect. It becomes past perfect. If we had seen, good, the movie yesterday, good, the day before, very good. Excellent. Or the previous day, both are correct. Must we write the date? He asked his teacher. He asked his teacher. Good. The use of word if. He is speaking about himself and his friends. The student is speaking about himself, and so that if he asked his teacher if they, good, if they must. Good. Had to, not have to, but had to. Good. Had to. If they had to write the date. So you need to pay attention with this yes no questions, this type of question. You add the word if. It's very important to add this one here. With WH questions, no. You keep the WH word in its place and you follow the changes of the sentence. I hope I was clear in this type of questions. In the next video, inshallah, we'll be dealing with other types of sentences, inshallah. So, see you.